This is the Teclast P30T, and for $98, which is about 240,000 naira, Teclast promised me the world. We have a massive 10.1 inch screen, a keyboard, a mouse, a stylus, a tablet case, among other utilities and specifications that sounds too good to be true. On paper, the P30T sounds like a dream setup, a mini laptop for half the price of a mid-range smartphone, but we often know how these things end up. Once you buy a cheap tech, you often end up buying twice. So in this video, we're actually going to be taking a look at this tablet to find out whether this is actually a hidden gem from China or another substandard Chinese product. So stay with me. Opening the box, you're not just getting the Teclast P30T, you're getting an entire ecosystem. There is a decent case, a mouse, and even a Bluetooth keyboard. So this tablet is basically a full PC setup right out of the box, but then you notice something is missing. There is no charger. Well, the listing actually says without charger, so while you get every other thing, you have to look for your own charger to charge it, and that is actually a bold choice for a budget device. But thankfully, I have a 45-watt pulley charger lying around, although it's an overkill for this tablet since it only has 10-watt rated input, but it will work. So out of the box, the interface for this tablet is clean, but it feels basic, and because the screen resolution is low, you can sometimes see the pixels on lighter wallpapers. So to fix that, I installed an application called Nova Launcher and also one UI icon pack from Google Play Store to fix the look and the aesthetics of this tablet. And suddenly, with those two applications, it doesn't feel like a budget Chinese product anymore. It actually mimics the entire Samsung Galaxy ecosystem. And I also forced everything on this tablet into dark mode, and I also downloaded a high quality black wallpaper from the black wallpaper application on Google Play Store. And this isn't just for aesthetics. Once you install a black background on a lower screen resolution device like this tablet, you will stop noticing the pixels and it just blends in the bezels for this tablet right into the display of your screen. So since this bundle costs $98, most people getting this tablet aren't just getting it for watching movies on Netflix or watching YouTube videos only. They actually want a laptop replacement. So I decided to write the exact script of this video using this tablet. So the first thing I did was to connect the mouse and the keyboard to this tablet, and the setup and the connection process was easy and smooth. So the connection was smooth, but when you start working, you notice two things. First thing, the mouse is very tiny, so if you work for a very long period of time and you have big palms, you start to get uncomfortable. Well, it works, the mouse works, but it feels like a toy. And number two, the keyboard is actually very impressive. It's not crammed up and the battery life is very impressive. However, this is where I found a glitch. When you use the tablet with the keyboard and the mouse for a very long period of time, the tablet just freezes up. Like nothing moves, nothing works on the tablet. And the fix is really simple. You just tap the power button right here to lock the screen, and then you unlock it and you pick up immediately where you left off. So it is annoying, but personally to me it is not a deal breaker, but I just feel you should know about this glitch before you actually proceed to buy this tablet. And I believe maybe with software updates this glitch is going to be fixed. And aside that freeze, everything else was working fine. I was working with multiple tabs on Chrome, I was working on Google Docs and spreadsheets at the same time, and everything was smooth, all thanks to the processor, the T606 Unisoc processor in this tablet. So I guess if that glitch is not going to be any much of a problem to you, you can actually decide to go for this device. But still stay with me, we're going to explore more options on this device. And now at this section, this is where most reviewers will install Call of Duty and start to game on this tablet. But this tablet doesn't have a gaming processor, it doesn't have a Snapdragon high-end gaming processor, it's just a Unisoc T606 processor. So you won't expect it to run Call of Duty. I didn't even bother installing it because I don't really play Call of Duty that much. So I installed a game I actually play, which is called Infinite Flight Simulator, and to my surprise it was smooth. The frame rate was stable enough to control the aircraft from takeoff to landing, and there was no stutter, although things might change when you start to play events in multiplayer or just random multiplayer servers. However, this is where the budget price shows up. Because the screen resolution is only 1280 by 800, the cockpit instruments and the scenery is going to look a little bit blurry or pixelated. So you should know that before you go ahead to buy this tablet for gaming. It's actually decent, it is playable, but don't just expect 4K visuals from these tablets. And by the way, enjoy this cool landing from your captain. And most people, including me, we're going to be using these tablets to watch movies and to watch videos on Netflix, on YouTube. So let's talk about the screen. This is an IPS panel, which means if I tilt the device like this, the colors do not invert, unlike the cheap TN panels that used to come with these budget devices from China. This is actually a massive upgrade. But then we need to talk about the speakers. They get very loud, but they sound tinny, like as if the sound is coming out from a tin can. It has no bass at all. So if you intend to watch videos on these tablets, you will need to invest into a Bluetooth headset or a Bluetooth speaker, or just connect your headphone jack to this tablet. Thankfully, it still has one. Now, I didn't forget about the camera. Since we have a 5 megapixel at the rear and we have a 2 megapixel at the front, I'm going to keep this section very brief. Do not expect anything from this tablet when it comes to camera. But then I made a test recording with this tablet. It's actually decent when you have a bright light shining on your face, and it's actually going to be good for Zoom calls or video calls with friends or families or your work partners. But when it comes to streaming or some high quality video recording, definitely you shouldn't be expecting anything from a 2 megapixel front facing camera or a 5 megapixel back camera. So before I forget, because this is a budget LCD screen, we need to talk about something very important, which is called screen bleeding. In normal use, it looks fine. It doesn't disturb you at all when it comes to viewing videos, when it comes to working. But if you have a black background, a plain black background, yeah, you can kind of see the bleeding at the top or around the edges of the tablets. It doesn't distract you in any way. It doesn't get worse. It doesn't get bad. And it's actually not a defect with your tablet. But I think you know this before you actually go ahead to purchase this tablet. You might experience screen bleeding. Just keep that in mind and don't expect a whole level of all black on this tablet. Now, let's talk about the specs. This tablet right here says it comes with Android 16. Now, this is the point where I'm going to say that is a lie, but I actually went to the settings and I found that it's actually running on Android 16. Now, you can't believe that, right? I installed applications like CPU-Z and 2 other related applications like that to confirm whether it is actually running on Android 16. And to my surprise, it's running on the legitimate Android 16 from Google. So that means you're going to have access to the latest security features and any other features that come with Android 16 right on this tablet. And for a budget device, for $98, that is actually very, very impressive. Most flagship phones right now don't even have Android 16 yet. However, there's one thing you need to know. This tablet has just 4 GB of RAM. You might see some advertisements claiming it has 12 GB of RAM. That is just like, it is 4 GB of RAM and then 8 GB of virtual RAM, which is actually useless to me if you ask me. So the RAM you're going to be getting with this tablet is 4 GB. So now to the battery. This tablet comes with a 6000 mAh battery, and this is actually very decent for this type of tablet. In my own case, for my own use, I use this tablet for about 3 or 4 days without having to charge it, and I charge from 20% to 80%, and this tablet still carries me for days. And when I'm at my max use for this tablet so far, I use about 6% per hour, which is actually very decent. And if you remember earlier, I said this tablet supports only 10 watt rated input. So if you wait for this tablet to go off completely, it might take forever. It might look like it's taking forever before your tablet charge up back to 80% or 200%. So I initially wanted to end this video by saying I plan to use this tablet as my PC for a week, but I decided to do that before making this review. So I traveled to visit my parents in another city for about a week, and I didn't take my laptop along, only this tablet and my mobile phone, and this tablet successfully replaced my laptop for my own usage. So I did heavy brainstorming on Gemini, on Google Docs, on Google Sheets. I even watched a lot of TikToks and YouTube, and this tablet handled it very well. Now, the ultimate test happened when one of my websites crashed. I had a PHP error on the back end of one of my websites, and normally fixing a code on touchscreen is not very easy. But with this tablet and the keyboard, and with the help of the keyboard and the mouse, I was able to log into the back end of my website, found a PHP file, edited the file, and I got my website back up and running with the help of this tablet, the keyboard and the mouse. So it basically mimicked the experience of using a PC for me. So I guess this is actually going to fit into my workflow very much. I've been using this tablet as my mini PC. I use it to monitor my stream on one of my TikTok accounts. I use it for brainstorming. I use it to watch videos. I actually there can be differences, but the viewing experience on this tablet is very, very okay for me when it comes to videos. And if I need any high quality video, I watch that on my phone, which is Samsung S21, and on my PC right here. So for this tablet, for this price range, it actually works best for me. So if you're a gamer or you need a high performing machine, this $98 tablet is actually not for you. You need to go for something better and something more expensive. But if you're a student, a writer, or someone that just wants to have an experience of using a tablet, this could actually still work. So my aim with this tablet is to use it for script writing and to recording videos on this channel. I actually wanted to use it with a teleprompter, but I think I'm not going to be doing that anymore. I'm just going to be using it as a fallback device for my scripts, so just to monitor my script while I'm shooting videos like this. And that's my review about this Teclast P30T. For me, it is a win. for this amount, and I hope it lasts very long. I got this tablet on December 30 and I've been using it since December 30 up to this very moment. This is January 21st and it has been smooth so far, and I hope it stays the same way. My name is Eben and I'm going to see you guys in another video.